Ladies and gentlemen, Madame and Monsieur, Pani и Panowie, good afternoon, bonjour, dobry вечер. Sincere welcome to the ceremony honoring the resilience of Ukrainian people. Thank you for your care and participation. My name is Mikhail Renzak, and I'm the representative of the Ukrainian Congress, Ottawa branch, and I'm honored to be the master of the special ceremony honoring the Ukrainian resilience and of Ukrainian people. We acknowledge that our work in Ottawa takes place on a land and territory, unceded territory of Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. The Algonquin people have lived on this land since the time immemorial. We are grateful to have the opportunity to be present in this territory today. We gather to honor Ukrainian people's extraordinary strength, courage, and unbreakable spirit in face of unimaginable adversary. Since full-scale Russian invasion of February 22, 2022, Ukraine has been forced into the war that no nation should ever have endured. But in this turmoil, one thing has become absolutely clear. The resilience of Ukrainian people is nothing short of heroic. The world has watched Ukrainian soldiers have fight with unparalleled bravery, but the fight has not been limited to those in the front lines. The resilience of Ukrainian people is reflected in the daily acts of defiance and solidarity, whether in continued work of doctors and nurses saving lives, teachers who refuse to let the light of the education go, civilians providing shelters, and support to those displaced by the horror of war. As we reflect on the courage and strength displayed by Ukrainian people, let us renew our own commitment to supporting them. Let us stand not just in admiration, but in solidarity. For as Ukrainians continue to fight for peace, freedom, and justice, we stand with them today, tomorrow, and always. Thank you. I invite the Ukrainian Children's Choir to perform National Anthem of Canada and Ukraine. Please welcome them with a round of applause. It's a displaced children affected by war, obviously with the broken families. Fathers are fighting for democracy and our freedom, and they're trying to make survival with their families, with their moms here, and showing us amazing quality of performance that you will be affecting. And don't be too judgmental with respect to their very emotional stage today. They will do the best. Thank you very much. The children will be performing for us a little bit later. We will continue with the official program. Honorable senators, distinguished guests, Ukrainian community. As we reflect on the incredible strength and courage shown by the Ukrainian people, we are reminded that leadership and solidarity are vital in a time of crisis. The Senator Donna Daska and Senator Stanley Kutcher will give their thoughts in recognition of the resilience and fortitude of Ukrainian people. Both senators are of Ukrainian heritage and have been working closely with the Ukrainian community here in Canada to support newcomers and raise issues important to government. They are both steadfast allies of Ukraine and continue to push the measure of support Ukraine's victory and rebuilding efforts. Please join me to welcome our host of today's ceremony, Mr. Stanley Kutcher and Madame Donna Daska.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mikhail. Sorry, that's me. Thank you very much. And I want to welcome everyone here today, distinguished guests, parliamentarians, senators, senatrices, members of the international community, and community leaders. We welcome you as friends of Ukraine and in solidarity with Ukraine. Today, we look back at that terrible day 3 years ago when Putin invaded Ukraine, a day that will live in infamy. We also look ahead to a day that we can all celebrate together, a just peace for Ukraine. Our theme today is Ukrainian strength, perseverance, and resilience. We have all heard and read the stories of the courage of the Ukrainian people in the face of extreme adversity. And we will learn and we will hear more about the strength and resilience of the Ukrainian people today as well. But did you know that the resilience of the Ukrainian people has actually been studied systematically, Stan, in a study? A large UN-backed study that I came across in my readings a few weeks ago, a study conducted in 2024. That study showed a strong sense of shared national identity and of attachment to the country among the Ukrainian public. These aspects of social cohesion are so vital and are a unifying force for Ukrainians as they face not only the terrible physical war, but the disinformation war as well. And now there are even greater challenges in the alarming and shifting geopolitical landscape. Even as we meet today, we are reading about events that are absolutely alarming. We would never have dreamed to see what we are seeing today. Since the fall of the Soviet Union, Ukraine set out on a path toward democracy, toward an open economy, toward freedom, and toward national sovereignty. This path has taken many turns, but the direction now is very clear. Vladimir Putin despises this Western-facing democratic direction that Ukraine has taken. His goal is to destroy this new Ukraine and return it to the dark days of authoritarian rule. But Ukrainians' aspirations and their resolve are as strong as ever. They will never live under Russian rule. They will never live under Russian rule. And we Canadians will support Ukraine as long as it takes. Thank you, merci, дякую.
Привіт, добрий день, вечір, хто знає. Я Святослав Кутчер, сенатор, я підтримую Україну. Я буду говорити по-англійськи, щоб всіх будуть розуміти. I said, hello, how are you? I'm Senator Kutcher. I stand with Ukraine, and I'll speak in English. Thank you all so much for being here today. We may ask, why are we here? Well, we're gathered to honor the heroism and resilience of the Ukrainian people, now entering the fourth year of Russia's genocidal attack. However, as we all in this room know, the war started in 2014 with the attack on Crimea. In fact, one might argue that this current 3 years of warfare would likely not have happened had Western countries stood fast and upheld the security guarantees of Budapest in 1994 and Bucharest in 2008. The war has dragged on much longer than it should. Again, lack of Western resolve to provide Ukraine with the munitions, armaments it needed to defeat Russia, but just enough to contain Russia. We're also here to recognize the impact of this war on children, the trauma that the children have gone through. The choir you saw today have come from Ukraine. When I met them the first time a couple of years ago, and when I see them today, they're different kids. They're different. They've had the shelter, they've had the safety, they've had the security. They're healing. But so many children back in Ukraine are not healing. Their childhood has been taken from them. Many have lost loved ones and are grieving. Many have been stolen by Russia and moved forcefully to be assimilated in Russia. So we're here to pledge. We're here to pledge that we will help heal these children, that we will help them restore their dignity, that we will help them grow up in freedom and not in fear, that we will help them so that when they go outside, they can hear the singing of the birds instead of explosions. We are here to stand and support all those young people whose poetry has not yet been written. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for standing with these children and all the other children. І слава Україна!
Thank you, Senators. And definitely children of Ukraine deserve peace and better future, and Ukraine needs the victory. So at that moment, we would like to invite children to performance to read to us the poem of Ukrainian prophet, well-known poet Taras Shevchenko, До Основ'яненка, performed by Михайло Стецкевич і Соломія Маланюк. Please, welcome.
Смійся, люд.
Може вам це мікрофон? Пробуйте ближче.
Смійся, лютий враже. Смійся, лютий враже, та не дуже, бо все гине. Слава не поляже, а розкаже, що діялось в світі, чия правда, чия кривда і чиї ми діти. Наша дума, наша пісня не вмре, не загине. От де, люди, наша слава, слава України.
Love the ferocious foe, but not too loudly, for our fame will never be laid low. It will not perish, but proclaim the annals of our age. What is our justice, what our wrong, and what our parentage? Our epic and our ancient song forever shall remain, and that is where our glory lies, the glory of Ukraine.
Дякую. Thank you. Mikhailo was demonstrating symbolically preserving Ukrainian culture, and Solomia has been spoken in English, but she a newcomer. She only arrived to us only 2 months ago. Thank you, Solomia, one more time. We are pleased to have with us today a deputy head of the mission of Ukrainian Embassy to Canada, Pan Andriy Bukvich, who has shown exceptional leadership, not only representing Ukraine's interest role in Canada, but also conveying to the world the unconquerable spirit of the Ukrainian people in the ongoing struggle against Russian aggression. Please join me to welcome Pan Andriy Bukvich to the podium. Thank you.
Dear distinguished guests, honorable senators, members of parliament, your excellencies, ambassadors, Mr. Mayor, Ukrainian community, dear friends, thank you for coming today to demonstrate again and again that you will stand with Ukraine and for Ukraine as long as it takes to win. It's 3 hard years since February 24, a day that changed our world forever. But let's not forget, this war did not begin in 2022. It has been ongoing for 11 years. On February 20, 2014, Russia launched its first armed aggression against Ukraine by invading and illegally occupying Ukraine and parts of Ukrainian territory. This was a beginning of a war the Kremlin tried to disguise, to normalize its crimes, to force the world into silence and acceptance. The same evils against people and humanity they are trying to do now. But Ukraine did not accept it. Canada didn't accept it. The free world did not accept it. For 3 years, Ukraine has withstood the most horrific full-scale military aggression in modern European history. Our cities have been bombed, our people have been targeted and executed, our children stolen from their families and deported in act of genocide. And yet Ukraine stands, Ukraine fights, Ukraine refused to fall. Because for us, this is a fight for a very existence of Ukrainians, existence of our identity, culture, language, our history. This is also a war for democracy, for international law, for justice, for all of us. But let me say this is clearly. Ukraine does not stand alone. Canada has been with us every step of the way. Canada was among the first to send weapons, the first to impose sanctions, the first to recognize the truth. The Russia's war crimes amount to genocide, and the first to say, Ukraine will not be abandoned. We are grateful to Canadian Parliament, the Government of Canada, to all political parties and their leaders, to the millions of Canadians who have marched, donated, and stood with Ukraine. Дякуємо. Thank you. Низький вам уклін. Thank you for your unwavering support. We need it now as never before. Today, on this bitter anniversary both of sorrow and resistance, we send a clear message. Ukraine is a sovereign and independent state within its internationally recognized borders and territories. Ukraine's territorial integrity must be fully restored. There can be no negotiations about our land, our sovereignty, our right to exist. There are those who say Ukraine must compromise, that we must be realistic, that we must sit at the table with our invader and aggressor. Let me be absolutely clear. How to end the war and when to engage with Russia, that's up to Ukraine. What terms to agree, it's up to Ukraine. Ukraine future, that's up to Ukraine. Nobody can force us to surrender its future. Nobody can dictate to Ukraine the terms of peace. Nobody has the right to tell us how to defend our homes, our families, our freedom. This is only one path. There is only one path to a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace. Peace through strength, not only for Ukraine, but for whole Europe. After all, Russia understands only strength, force, and resistance. Today, I ask every one of you, please do not stop. Keep marching, keep speaking, keep pushing your leaders to do more, to send more, to stand firm against those who seek to erase Ukraine from the map. We have seen what happens when the world hesitates. We know the cost of silence. The Russia planned to conquer our ancient capital in 3 days. The allies and partners gave us our country 3 weeks. But Ukraine have been defending their homeland for 3 years already. Ukrainians are fighting with and without weapons, regardless of atrocities and intimidating war crimes. We shall not stop until we win. We don't have the other options or alternatives, because the aggressor's ultimate goal is to erase us from the map and history. As Russia did successfully with hundreds of indigenous peoples who become silent in essential parts of Russian empire. Far from the front lines, away from the pain, suffering, and destruction, many around the world would rather tear the pages of last 3 years from history, burn them, or simply turn the page and move on. But Russian war against Ukraine is a chronicle of world history, without exaggeration or pathos. How it is written will shape the future. Today's exhibition, Timeline of the War, is a small but important page in these chronicles. On the exhibition, you can see the devastation that has been brought by Russian aggression to Ukraine for the last 11 years. Devastation of Ukrainian homes, Ukrainian churches, Ukrainian lands. But you also can read a message conveyed. Ukrainian spirit and Ukrainian nation can't be destroyed. Just look at the eyes of our soldiers during liberation of Kherson. Courage, endurance, and strength. We are particularly grateful to honorable senators and their teams for supporting this event. We are thankful to Ukrainian Canadian Congress. We are thankful for those who write their own pages into chronicles. Senator Kutcher and senators of Canada for adopting bill on September Ukrainian Heritage Month in Canada. We're looking forward to adoption at the House of Commons. Thank you. 3 years. How much of that in human lives? How many in a mother's tears? How many children will never be born, never grew up in cities that were covered with mines and bombed and airstruck by missiles? We cannot betray these sacrifices. We cannot betray the memories of those who gave their lives and destinies to defend Ukraine. We cannot tolerate the attempts to rewrite the history and call a black a white, to equalize an aggressor and a victim, to accuse victim in being brutally attacked. We must not betray those who hold the line on the front, those who with their blood buy us time for reflections, negotiations, resolutions, delayed supplies. Those who fight on the front line for us, diplomats and politicians, to have strong arguments at the negotiation table. I've got this question many times in Canada. What keeps our soldiers and citizens going? What inspires them? Hatred, anger, fury? Yes, to some extent. But above all, love. Love to their land, love for life, for those waiting them at home. For 3 years, Ukrainians have fought and bled for love, the force that, as we know, runs the world. Ukrainians will fight for what is ours, for our love, freedom, our future, for the lives of our children in their own Ukraine, strong and free. And we deeply appreciate and will always remember all those who stand by us shoulder to shoulder. Thank you, Canada, for that. To all you here today, thank you. Thank you for your unwavering solidarity. Thank you for making your voice heard. Thank you for showing the world that Ukraine is not alone. Together we will stand. Together we will defend what we believe in. Together we will win. Slava Ukraini!
Thank you, Mr. Bukvich, for the lovely thoughts. Very descriptive images, and we will have something to contemplate later on in the program. On behalf of the present of us today, I also would like to express our deepest gratitude to every member of the Ukrainian embassy, to their mission, and the extent of our support and solidarity for the people of Ukraine as they continue their fight for peace and democracy. With great respect, I would like to introduce to you today a prominent leader who has been a frontrunner of advocacy of Ukrainian community in Canada and a tireless voice of resilience of Ukrainian people at these difficult times. Ukrainian Congress plays a crucial role mobilizing government and communities in support of people of Ukraine. You may know about their hard work, but just recently, yesterday, Ukrainian Congress organized a vigilant rally across Canada, Stand with Ukraine, in 54 cities. It was well attended and reflected our support of Canadians for Ukraine. Please join me to welcome Igor Mikhalchishyn, Executive Director of Ukrainian Canadian Forces.
We don't have the Ukrainian Canadian Forces yet, but we will work on that. Distinguished guests, friends, senators who've become friends, thank you for this event today. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you to the organizers. And Mikhail, it was 56 communities. We had many. Kingston and Bradford, Ontario sent us emails this morning, so we're up to 56, which was thousands of Canadians who came to join us on the streets. The question I wanted to leave with you as I start is, how are we today? This is the question I've got in every media interview that I've done. For 3 years, Ukrainians have courageously and heroically defended their country and the freedom of Europe from Russia's genocidal war. The Russians thought they were embarking on a war of conquest, but instead Ukraine stands, Kyiv stands, and the Ukrainian people stand united in their defiance to Russian tyranny. We are grateful to Canada for the assistance provided to date, but Ukraine needs more weapons and aid to secure the victory. There can be no compromise with genocide, and Russia must be defeated. I will paraphrase myself from yesterday's rally and say that as much as I enjoy and honored to speak at events like this, I don't want to be at next year's commemoration. I don't want to be at a 4th annual commemoration of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. None of us should want to be there. We know that now is not the time to despair. Now is not the time to tire. The Ukrainian people don't despair, they do not tire. Now is the time to redouble our efforts, resolve to work harder to stand with Ukraine, and to do more in every aspect of our lives. Today we reflect, we rededicate, and as a community, we call on the Government of Canada and our allies to provide more military and economic aid, to be tougher on Russia, and to continue to support Ukrainians who are displaced in Canada. Thank you again to all the organizers and the guests here. Thank you particularly to the UCC Ottawa branch, whose leadership and volunteers have made today's event and yesterday's event possible. Slava Ukraini.
Thank you, Mr. Mikhalchyshin. The middle of the night, February 24, 2022, changed the world peace forever. The life of millions of Ukrainian people continue to be deeply affected by the barbaric act of unjustifiable Russian aggression. Meaningless destructions of many cities and villages, total destructions of cities like Mariupol, constant destruction and bombing of the city of Kharkiv, Kherson, barbaric efforts witnessed in Bucha, Borodyanka, and constant bombardment of Kyiv by drones, artilleries, and so on and so on. It reflects undeniable facts of systemic pattern of torture, mass graveyard, intentional targeting of civilians, committing war crimes, and acts of terrors. Lyudmila Kozin was living with her family in Bucha on February 24, 2022. Please be brave to hear the story of the live victim, survivor of the Bucha. Pani Lyudmila, прошу вас, поделиться своей историей. I would like to welcome Pani Lyudmila Kozin to share her personal story.
Thank you for inviting me to share my story. My family managed to survive in the middle of the battle for Kyiv in February and March 2022. We lived in a condominium in the middle of the forest, 50 meters from highway Kyiv-Warsaw and 400 meters from Irpin-Bucha-Hostomel intersection, where 10 cars were shot and 5 people killed on the February 25th. On February 24th, we woke up at about 6 a.m. because of explosions. Highway was one huge traffic jam. The first day was not so scary, and I even managed to work a bit. In the evening, the highway finally became silent and empty, and we had a chance to leave, but we and about 200 neighbors decided to stay at home. We didn't realize what was coming. Next day, fight started as always at 6 a.m. We were hiding in the corridor following two walls rule. We were constantly monitoring news and social media to see what's going on around. At some point, we found out that battle is in the center town of Bucha and caliber of Russian weapon can shoot through the walls. We moved to the basement to be lower than ground. After a few hours, we heard a big explosion and our internet connection failed. That was the moment when a group of Russian armed vehicles was hit on the bridge in 1 kilometer from us. After 1 hour, I went outside to catch up on mobile data and check the news. That was the exact moment when 20 Russian troops with automatic guns were retrieved from exploded bridge through our backyard. I ran like in slow-motion nightmare and hid inside the building. One injured man reached out our building and asked medical help. He was shot at the intersection. In the evening, when the internet connection was restored, we found all these videos about civilian cars got shot, and we realized that we are trapped. I still don't understand why they were shooting civilian people. The only answer I have, because they can. Because they know, they saw that they will win, and they believed in their impunity. After World War II, USSR had no responsibility for war crimes, and they believed that might make right, and winners are not judged. Chechnya and Georgia only strengthened this belief. Finding food had become our biggest problem. Once we had a silent day, the chief of security of our condominium said that we can go to the supermarket in the intersection. There was a fire, but some food was still edible. He warned us that we should not go through the forest because it's full of explosive traps. We should go through the highway and never look around because the bodies of the people shot 3 days ago were still there. We decided not to go, but our neighbor went there and gave us 1 pound of lentils. Volunteers reached us later and gave us some food as well. The mayor of Hostomel visited and announced the opening of 1 of 5 humanitarian aid centers in our condominium. 3 of 5 announced places were hit by Russian artillery next day. The mayor was shot and his body wired with explosives to kill more. Next 3 days were the loudest days in my life. Artillery units of 2 armies were shooting each other and our home was between them. We wanted to escape, but the biggest silent window was half an hour and we weren't fast enough. We received a warning from our local defense that they are retrieving and we need to stay in basement and be very silent. Electricity went off and we didn't have power, water, heat and internet anymore. We handcrafted sunflower oil candles and built tiny stove around it with bricks and tiles to keep warm. Next morning we found out that we were under occupation. There were 500 Russian soldiers in our condominium and forest around. They shoot into the air when anybody tried to turn on the car engine. We were trapped before, now we were doomed. Russia always starts filtration measures after occupying some place. I was on Euromaidan, and it was a death sentence for me. We were running out of food, energy, and hope. Twice a day, I went to the last store of our building to send SMS to my parents that we are still alive. When phone didn't work inside, I was going outside, but it was dangerous because if Russians see you with the phone, in the best case, they will destroy the phone. When Russians broke the window of our corner shop, our chief of security managed to sneak inside, steal and hide somewhere in the basement all the alcohol from the display. I don't know how many lives he saved this day, because Russian soldiers and alcohol is not a good combination. On March 9th, they allowed us to cook on the bonfire outside. It was very dangerous because of heat-seeking ammunition. After we escaped, 20 people left under occupation, and 3 of them died after explosion when they were cooking outside. But we didn't know that yet. It was amazing to have hot food. All the neighbors shared everything. One woman even managed to make bread dough. But it needs warmth to grow up, so she kept it under her jacket. Somebody managed to catch up on mobile data and found out that there is a green corridor organized by Red Cross in Bucha. My husband negotiated with Russian officer. He said that we have children and 35 weeks pregnant woman, and we need to get out of here. The officer didn't know anything about the green corridor. He gave us 1 hour to mark our cars with white sheets and children's signs and go. He only asked the nearest block post to not shoot us. He didn't have connection with other Russians. We were required to have white strips on our sleeves. It was humiliating and reminded me yellow stars in ghetto during World War II. In center town of Bucha was Russian block post. A lieutenant with automatic gun searched our car. There were hundreds of cars standing and nobody moved. We waited 4 hours until the queue started to move. It was freezing outside. Artillery worked nearby. My 6-year-old daughter was scared and constantly repeating that she wants to go home, but there was no way back. It took another 4 hours to make 20 kilometers and reach Bilogorodka, which was under Ukrainian control. We saw a lot of shot cars on the way. One of them was children's sign on the window, just like our car, with fist-sized hole in the front passenger door, all doors ajar, 1 teeny diaper under the floor. We had also seen shot old man's body on the bike between trees nearby the road. My daughter was so scared after this trip that next month she wasn't physically able to cry. When she wanted to let me know that she was upset, she just whimpered like a little puppy. My job as a mother is to make sure that it will never happen again to my family. That's why we went here to one of the safest countries in the world, and as I thought, where war is impossible. Although I'm not so sure about it anymore. It seems that Make Right becomes a worldwide trend. You can never negotiate with terrorists, not only because they lie, but also because it's contagious. Unpunished evil spreads fast. We need to stop it together.
Sometimes those emotional stories is very difficult to put in words, but my credit goes to Pani Luda as well, because not only she just recently arrived, but she's mastering English expression very well as well. Thank you. At this time of our ceremony, I respectfully invite all to join me observing a minute of silence in the memory of brave men and women, soldiers, volunteers and civilians who have given their lives in defense of Ukraine and its people. Let us take a moment to reflect on their sufferings, sacrifice, stand in solidarity with Ukrainian people, and reframe of our shared commitment to peace, justice, and protection of human rights. When we commemorate the heroes giving their life for our freedom, I graciously would like to invite Ukrainian newcomers choir capella to perform Ukrainian requiem, Hey, a duckling swims in Tisa. Please welcoming them and listen to a little bit of explanation of the meaning. The duckling mother of a mother's son, transcending from life into the death, floating in the river Tisa. A hero for his country, sorrow for his mother. It is a beautiful lament that speaks to the danger of price of war. The requiem originating during the First World War now has obtained its resurrected meaning as a triumph of the spirit of the murdered soldiers, a yelling of their souls as to the life of everything. They are yelling to everyone possible to hear them, to stop the atrocities and destruction of the Ukrainian people. In every village, town, and city, when soldier is passing away to the immortality, it is a music and melody with a tribute of honoring their heroism. So please welcome the newcomers choir with the Ukrainian requiem, Pливе кача по Тисині. Thank you. Thank you very much. It is a unique group of newcomers devoted to singing. The group has been formed only 2 months prior to Christmas with the support of fundraising in their mind, but supporting Christmas tradition, going from house to house caroling. And in their repertoire, they already did incredible. In the middle of the war, one of the group singer from the choir was in Ukraine, central Ukraine, Umani region, bombing around of the villages, and one of them have been helping people to evacuate, and one lady shared the story of Christmas caroling, and well forgotten, nobody knew, and it was recorded by the member of this group, and we practiced 2 months before Christmas, resurrected this melody, and what affected me, because I've announced it's a newcomers, I am obviously not a newcomer any longer, I'm privileged to be with the group and joining them, but the challenge was to introduce, resurrect the new carol in 4 voices. And my challenge was, I was never singing in bass. And they made me survive the challenge, and to your judgment, this beautiful requiem deserve a round of applause for the group of newcomers. Thank you. I would like to thank the musicians, Carissa Catherine Klopushak, Luis David Medina Panaranda, Margarita Lushak, and Olena Capey. Thank you. It is with a great reverence that I introduce the priest of Ukrainian clergy for Ukrainian churches in Ottawa to make a spiritual reflection in support of the courage of men and women of Ukraine, as well as those families and communities affected by the war. We are honored to be joined by Father Taras Kinach, Ireneus Prestaysky, Maxim Lysak, Mykolai Kozelenivsky. Please welcome to lead us with the prayer.
Отця і Сина і Святого Духа. Амінь. Боже, милосердя і справедливості, припадаємо до Тебе серцем, сповненим скорботи і надію, і третю річницю невиправданої агресії проти України. Підносимо до Тебе біль мільйонів, тих, хто страждає, тих, хто сумує, і тих, хто бореться за свободу і мир. Милосердний Господи, Ти, що є джерелом усякої втіхи, вислухай благання Твого народу в Україні. Утіш матерів і батьків, які втратили своїх дітей, дітей, які були відірвані від своїх родин, і всіх тих, хто був змушений покинути рідні домівки. Будь для них притулком і силою, справжньою допомогою в часі біди. Господи, даруй мудрість і відвагу лідерам України та всім, хто працює над вибудовою цієї землі, щоб їхні зусилля спрямувалися Твоєю любов'ю і правдою. Надихни світову спільноту діяти зі співчуттям і рішучістю, невтомно працюючи, щоб покласти край стражданням і повернути гідність у життя мільйонів людей.
Обезброй руки тих, хто сіє насильство, і переміни їхні серця, щоб вони шукали справедливості і любові в цьому світі. Ми молимося за наших воїнів, які мужньо і самовіддано захищають нашу батьківщину, Україну, повторюючи слова Господнього Сина: ніхто більшої любові не має на ту, як хто свою душу покладе за своїх друзів, за своїх братів та сестер. Подай їм захист, силу, мир у серці. Богородицю, котра невтомно захищає усіх нас вірних, благаємо, щоб розпростерла свій святий покров над Україною і над нашим українським народом. Заступися перед Твоїм Сином, Господом нашим Ісусом Христом, щоб на цій землі віри і відваги знову запанував такий потрібний мир. Бо Ти є Бог миру і любові, і милосердя, і ми Тобі славу висилаємо з єдинородним Твоїм Сином, пресвятим, благим і животворчим Твоїм Духом, нині повсякчас і на віки віків. Амінь.
Prions le Seigneur, O Lord of hosts, God of mercy and justice. We come before you with hearts full of grief and hope as we mark the third anniversary of the unjustified aggression against Ukraine. We lift up to you the pain of millions, those who suffer, those who mourn, and those who fight for freedom and peace. O compassionate Lord, you who are the source of all consolation, hear the cries of your people in Ukraine. Comfort the mothers and fathers who have lost their children, the children who have been torn from their families, and all those who have been displaced from their ancestral homes. Be their refuge and strength, a very present help in times of trouble. Lord, grant wisdom and courage to the leaders of Ukraine and to all who work to rebuild this land, that their efforts may be guided by your love and truth. Inspire the worldwide community to act with compassion and resolve, working tirelessly to end the suffering and restore dignity to the lives of millions.
Disarm the hands of those who sow violence and transform their hearts to seek justice and love. We pray for the soldiers who defend their homeland with courage and selflessness, echoing the words of your Son. Greater love has no one than this, that someone laid down his life for his friends. Grant them protection, strength, and peace in their hearts. We beseech the birth giver of God who has always extended her protection to the faithful, to spread her holy mantle over Ukraine and her people. Intercede before your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, that peace may reign once more in this land of faith and courage. For you are the God of peace, love, and mercy, and to you we offer glory, together with your only begotten Son, your most holy, good, and life-giving Spirit, now and forever, and unto the ages of ages. Amen.
Amen.
I Otця і Сина і Святого Духа.
Амінь.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, it is a privilege to introduce and explain a little bit about the art that you'll have a chance, hopefully, to review. The leading firm WZMH Architects, and Toronto-based leading firm not just in design but in a humanitarian effort, through their Rebuild Ukraine hackathon since 2022, has initiative brought together professionals and students to develop innovative solutions for Ukrainian recovery. As part of their fundraising effort, Helmets of Heart, a program that is distributed to over 500 3D printed helmets on the left side on the tables across Canada, exhibition across US and South Africa and Ukraine, engaging Ukrainian youth, transforming them into a symbol of solidarity through art. They not only offering the art to participate in creation, and you can see how delicate and creative, symbolic the helmets are, but it also serves as a fundraising as well, as far as I understand. But they proudly display 5 battle-worn helmets, the real ones to the right, real battle-worn helmets from the front lines, alongside then beautifully painted in 3D printers helmets created by the youth of Canadian Ukrainians. This serves powerful reminder of Ukrainians' ongoing fight for freedom and democracy. On behalf of all of us, we thank WZMH Architects, Rebuild Ukraine Hackathon, and Helmets of Heart for their dedication to the cause. And also at this time, I require you to take your moment to go and pay a little bit of attention and maybe stop for a minute to contemplate of the images of Ukraine living in ruins today. Beautiful architecture, but most importantly, suffering of people and children are reflected in the real images of the reality that never should have happened. And we are already had a moment of joy listening to the Ukrainian Children's Choir introducing the national anthems for us. But those displays talented ensemble of young voices created 1.5 years ago will now grace us with the powerful musical tribute to the strength and spirit of their nation. The young newcomers choir are not only representative of Ukrainians' future. Their performance today is a reminder of the innocence that has been affected by the war, yet also as the resilience that even the youngest member of the Ukrainian community have shown as they stand together in defense of their homeland. It is my honor to welcome the Ukrainian Children's Choir to the stage as they perform in celebration of Ukrainian resilience of unyielding hope for peace and freedom. In the last words of the children's song, when they are saying, we would like to see the world without war, we would like to see the clear sky, the sunshine and the smile. It's such a powerful meaning that none of us can associate living in Canada in the condition we are and what those children already have been through. Дуже дякую. Thank you so kindly for being so brave and sharing for us. And they will continue 3 more songs. It's not over yet. One? My bad. 1 more song with appreciation in support of Ukrainian Children's Choir. Дякую.
There comes a time
Thank you, children. Kindest heart, thank you very much. And no doubt, the children deserve to have a better future. We all have to do all possible to stop this war, to end the suffering. And also, sincere thank you for the conductor, Oля Stoyanova and Oля Kirchanova, for all the work that you do for those children. Thank you very much. You deserve your applause as well. And at this moment, on this emotion, we will conclude our presentation of the ceremony. And I would like to invite our host of special event for the final words, Mr. Senator Stan Kutcher and Donna Daska. Please come for the closing remarks.
Thanks, Dan. What's that?
How do you follow that?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mikhailo, for being a wonderful Master of Ceremonies today. You did a fantastic job. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone, to all of our distinguished guests today, and that is everybody in this room. I'd like to also especially thank the members of the Ukrainian community for making this event a very special event for all of us. Thank you to members of the clergy for your prayers today. Thank you. We've been so fortunate to have these beautiful choirs, these absolutely wonderful choirs performing for us today, and the chamber orchestra. Thank you so much for being here today with us. Ludmila, Mikhail and Somalia, thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for sharing your poems with us today. Thank you everyone for standing in solidarity with Ukraine. And as Ihor has said, we don't want to meet again next year for this to be 4 years. We don't want that. We want to meet again to celebrate a just peace for Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. It's an amazing opportunity for us to get together, to be with each other today. When I stand here with you, my thoughts go to my own family in Kyiv, Ternopil, Lviv. Every morning when I wake up, I look on my WhatsApp to see if they made it through the night. We are facing a time unprecedented in our history. I see members of the diplomatic corps here, parliamentarians. Today, the United Nations resolution to condemn Russia for its war upon Ukraine passed. Some countries voted against it. Russia, Belarus, North Korea, and the USA. This is a different world than it was a month ago. We who are here, who value the international rule of law, who value the sovereignty of states, who do not accept that two tyrants can divide a country to their liking, who do not accept that might makes right, who want power to bring peace and not power to bring destruction. It is up to us. It's up to us to save the lives, not just for these children, my friends, but for your children and their children. Because Ukraine has become the canary in the coal mine. If the canary stops singing, we will be next. So as we leave here, let's leave with gratitude for the resilience of the people of Ukraine. Let's leave with appreciation of the heroism. I sometimes wonder if it was Canada, would we be able to do the same? And let us leave here with hearts of resolve that we will work together with each other, like-minded nations that respect the rule of law, that want the ecosystem of economies and security that make our globe more healthy, more wealthy, and more peaceful. Let that group come together. And friends, let that group be us. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for attending this special ceremony. Thank you, Senator, for wonderful conclusions. Your silence was a reflection of something very touching. And I conclude with simple slogan, wish and desire of all. Slava Ukraini, God save Canada. Heroям slava, God save, glory to Canada, glory to Ukraine, and glory to heroes. May all live to deserve the Ukraine's victory sometimes this year in the new reality. Thank you.